Welcome to Hack Gear, where we decode cybersecurity and the cognitive battle space and break it down to what really matters.
I'm Alice AI.
And I'm Bob AI. Imagine trying to defend a border that's, well, invisible. It's constantly shifting, threats pop up instantly from anywhere. For years, the approach was like building digital fortresses, focusing inward on our own networks. But the threats just got smarter, more relentless, and simply defending the castle walls, it wasn't cutting it anymore. Today, we're diving into a pretty radical shift in U.S. cyber strategy. It's a bolder approach called defend forward. And this deep dive, it's informed by a really close look at recent discussions, key sources on this. We want to unpack what it really means, how it actually works, and the tough questions it raises.
It really is a fundamental departure. Historically, the stance was largely reactive. You'd focus on fixing things after an attack had already happened. Defend forward is a profound shift. It's about proactively engaging adversaries, trying to stop attacks before they even reach our digital doorstep.
That's fascinating. A complete flip almost.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's unpack this. What exactly is defend forward, and why was this big shift actually necessary?
Well, at its heart, defend forward is proactive.
Yeah.
You could even say preemptive in its approach to cybersecurity. It was formally laid out in the 2018 Department of Defense Cyber Strategy. That was a major turning point. The core idea: confront and disrupt malicious cyber activity right at the source. Get to it before it hits U.S. networks, U.S. interests.
Okay, so confronting it out there instead of waiting for it here.
Exactly. It's a stark contrast to the old defend the perimeter mindset. That was all about domestic defenses reacting after something happened. And the rationale is, well, it's become pretty clear. Passive defense, just waiting, it's just not enough against these persistent, sophisticated threats we see now from a nation states, non-state actors, the whole range.
So if I'm hearing you right, it's less like building an impenetrable wall and more like actively playing maybe even offense on their turf. That sounds intense, resource-intensive, risky even. How does this strategy actually work day to day? What are the guiding principles?
You've hit a key point there. A core principle is something called persistent engagement. This means U.S. Cyber Command, other agencies, they're in continuous competition with adversaries in cyberspace.
Continuous.
Yeah.
Not just during a crisis.
Right. Instead of waiting for things to blow up, the idea is to constantly interact with, learn about, and counter malicious actors online. Think of it like a constant low-level grappling, always probing, learning, subtly disrupting their operations. And what's really interesting here, it's not just about blocking attacks, it's about changing the calculus for the adversary.
Changing their cost-benefit analysis.
Precisely. This subtle, ongoing pressure, it can actually be more effective than one big cyber strike. It forces them to spend so much effort just trying to operate that maybe their bigger goals become too expensive or strategically vulnerable.
Okay, so what are the main objectives then, if it's not just blocking?
Well, there are several primary objectives. First, disrupt and degrade adversary capabilities. By operating proactively out in foreign cyberspace, the U.S. tries to identify, disrupt, and basically wear down the infrastructure they use, their tools, their networks.
Like taking away their weapons or breaking their communication lines?
Kind of. It could mean disabling their command and control servers, the digital brains directing malware.
Yeah.
Or neutralizing harmful programs before they're even launched.
Got it. Make it harder, slower, more expensive for them.
Exactly. Which leads right into the second objective: deterring future attacks. The aim is to impose significant costs, that make adversaries seriously question the value of attacking the U.S. in the first place.
And these costs aren't just cyber tit for tat.
No, not necessarily. They can extend beyond cyberspace. Diplomatic pressure, economic sanctions, information campaigns. It's about creating a broader sense of consequence. Third, it allows the U.S. to gain early warning and insight. Operating close to adversaries gives you invaluable intelligence on their TTPs, tactics, techniques, procedures. You learn their playbook.
Like seeing what they're planning.
Exactly, and understanding their broader intentions. This intel is crucial for anticipating threats and, importantly, strengthening our own domestic defenses. And finally, the strategy aims to shape international norms. Through actions, through partnerships, the U.S. tries to influence what's seen as responsible state behavior online, reinforce the idea that malicious activity won't just be ignored, building a consensus subtly.
You've laid out the goals very clearly. Now, for you listening, this is often where it gets really interesting, seeing it in action. Can you give us a sense of what defend forward actually looks like out in the real world?
Absolutely. A key operational piece of this is something called hunt forward operations. Now, these are defensive missions. U.S. Cyber Command teams conduct them, and this is critical always at the invitation of a partner nation.
Ah, so it's collaborative.
Very much so. U.S. teams work right alongside the host nation's cyber folks. They hunt together for malicious actors, for vulnerabilities on that partner's critical networks, like two detective agencies sharing leads, pooling resources.
Okay. Where have we seen this happen?
Well, there have been several publicly disclosed operations. Countries like Ukraine, Lithuania, Croatia have hosted these teams, and they've been credited with some really significant successes. Take Ukraine, for example. Before the full-scale invasion, these teams were there deeply embedded. They helped Ukrainian cyber defenders find and kick out Russian malware from critical systems.
Wow. Actually hands-on defense.
Yes, and sources really highlighted this wasn't just about helping Ukraine. That direct intervention provided invaluable real-time intel on Russian tactics. That knowledge directly helped bolster U.S. defenses back home.
That's a powerful feedback loop. What else?
They've also been crucial in countering election interference. Teams have worked with partners to help secure their elections from foreign meddling. Again, this gives the U.S. vital insights into adversary tactics that, could potentially be used against us later.
Learn from their attempts elsewhere.
Right. And finally, they play a big role in combating ransomware, that nasty software that locks up data for ransom. By proactively finding and sharing info about ransomware groups, their infrastructure, these operations help global efforts to disrupt these criminal enterprises.
Okay, this proactive approach, this hunt forward, certainly sounds powerful. Seems necessary, even given the threats. But like any big strategic shift, it must come with debates, potential downsides, right?
Yeah.
What are the big challenges Defend Forward raises?
That's an excellent point. And yes, it has definitely sparked significant debate. Lots of criticism from different angles. A primary concern is around escalation and de-escalation. That's a big one.
Meaning things could spiral out of control.
Potentially. The worry is that proactive, maybe even offensive-seeming cyber ops, even if intended defensively, could be misinterpreted by an adversary. That misinterpretation could lead to unintended conflict. And cyberspace makes this tricky. It's hard to know who did what sometimes, attribution is difficult, plus we lack clear international rules of the road.
So managing escalation is tough when you can't always see who fired the first digital shot or agree on the rules.
Exactly. Then there's the issue of sovereignty and international law. Operating in another country's cyberspace, even defensively, bumps up against complex legal and sovereignty questions.
Even with permission, like hunt forward.
Well, hunt-forward operations require consent, that's clear. But other aspects of the broader strategy, maybe unilateral actions in an adversary's network, those can exist in a kind of legal gray area under international law. It's debated.
Tricky legal ground. What else?
There's also the offense-defense imbalance argument. Some critics worry that focusing so much on offense, on operating forward, might inadvertently pull resources or attention away from the vital need to shore up our own defenses here at home.
So the argument is basically, don't get so focused on playing offense that you forget to lock your own doors.
Pretty much. They argue for a more balanced approach. Ensuring robust protection for critical infrastructure domestically is just as prioritized.
Makes sense.
And finally, there are ongoing questions about transparency and accountability. A lot of these operations are classified, naturally. But critics push for more clarity on the rules of engagement. What exactly are the legal and policy frameworks governing these actions? It really raises an important question. How do we navigate these inherent challenges? How do we pursue an assertive cyber strategy that's still accountable, still clear about its boundaries?
So, to sum up, Defend Forward is this proactive, assertive evolution in U.S. security thinking. A major shift, taking the cyber fight to the adversaries. But, as we've just heard, this powerful strategy brings a whole suite of complex issues, debates, risks, legal questions that need really careful handling. We hope this deep dive has given you, our listener, a much clearer picture of this really critical and complex topic.
Yeah, and if you sort of connect this to the bigger picture, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? How will the long-term effects, the consequences of Defend Forward actually shape the future of international relations, of digital security overall? It's definitely a question that's going to keep evolving as technology changes, as global dynamics shift. Something to keep thinking about.
Indeed. It's a fascinating, fast-moving area, and it's only going to become more central. We definitely encourage you to keep exploring.
If you enjoyed this fact-check discussion, be sure to like and subscribe to Hack Gear for more.